guys, so I wanted to make a video today that's a little different than my typical uploads, and I think that I've mentioned this a few times in the past, but I feel like as beauty influencers and people on this site, makeup is fun and it's a fun thing to do, and I love to do it and I love to talk about it, and I love filming videos and just being lighthearted because makeup is not that serious and it's just fun, and I love to do that. But there are also other sides to the world, and that is that there are deep topics. I love it when people can have deep conversations and we can talk to each other and we can open up and we can feel comfortable to say the things that we feel and not be judged for it. And I love that. And I think YouTube has gotten a lot more, I hate to say the word clickbaity because I totally fall into that as well. I make crazy thumbnails and do clickable shit, and you guys know I love that kind of thing. There's also another side to YouTube, and that for me personally, I find that I love it when people make deep videos. I love it when they sit down with me, they cut through all the bullshit and they just talk about stuff, and they're more open with me, and you get to see a human side to them that you don't necessarily get to see when you are watching just like traditional beauty videos, which we all know I love too. I feel like a lot of times it gets kind of forgotten that people on the internet are that. We are humans. We feel the same way you feel. We have a lot of family things going on along the sides that you don't see. Real quick, you guys know, if you've been following me for any length of time, I had a series on my channel called Raw Advice. And in that video, you guys would ask me any questions that you had, and I would sit down and I would answer them all for you. And there was no format to each video. I would talk about a million different topics, and it was sort of like a Q&A, but people were asking me for advice. Now, I quit doing that because for me, I am unqualified to be giving advice to people. I am no therapist, and I am not a psychiatrist. I am not qualified to be giving advice to people on their relationships, marriages, lives, etc. I don't want to be that person who maybe gives the wrong advice, or you know what I'm saying. I love those style of videos because just because I do beauty videos doesn't mean that there isn't another side to me that has things I want to talk about. There's more intellectual things that I like to talk about. As much as I love makeup, I also love talking about life and deep ponderings, and I think that a big problem with today's society is that we can't have these deep conversations with each other, because if somebody disagrees with you, they hate you. And that's stupid, if you ask me. I disagree with a lot of the things I see online, and a lot of my friends and I have totally different opinions on things. We can be friends and we can talk about these things, and we don't have to hate each other when we're done, because just because we have differing opinions on a topic doesn't mean that we don't share the same values and we don't love each other despite those differing opinions. Just asked on Twitter, and I said, hey, are there any deep topics any of you guys want me to talk about? And let's see what some people said. Maddie says here, dealing with chronic pain. I would love to know how you get through your day in life. I can't seem to get myself out of bed lately, and I fall into this pattern too easily. This person says how to get off your ass and do something with yourself and make a change. So I think this video would be a great one to talk about how I find the will to wake up in the morning and get my shit together and work really hard. And I will talk about my chronic pain, and I'll talk about that stuff if you guys want to know. And let's just chat, because I'm into it. Before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not yet, and hit like if you guys like this video and the idea for this video. I think it'd be really fun, and I'm totally open to chat with you guys in the comments. I love the idea of being super open and just let it all out, man. Also, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, all of those. Everything is RawBeautyKristi. I post a lot on Twitter, so if you guys ever want to know if a video is coming out, updates, if you guys have questions, if I'm gonna do a Q&A, anything, it's always on Twitter. I'm not kidding you, it's the place to be. So what really sparked this for me was that I was watching Jaclyn Hill's video the other night. She did a Q&A with her husband, John. It was so nice because it really stripped away a lot of what you think about somebody and showed a really human side to them. Not that I didn't think Jaclyn Hill was a human, come on. Her and I aren't on that level together. Sometimes if somebody, you know, you kind of start off and you kind of feel like you're on that same level with them, and then they grow out of what you feel like you can relate to. And for me, with some people online, that's how it feels to me. Like, I don't own any fancy jewelry or bags or, you know, expensive stuff. And sometimes they dehumanize a little bit the less you can relate to them. So for me, she did that Q&A video, and it was such a breath of fresh air, because for me it was like, oh my god, they talked about John's previous struggle with addiction and how they were when they first got together, and Jaclyn talked about some old jobs that she had, and they talked about their relationship and how it was rocky, and I was like, oh my god, it's such a breath of fresh air to like learn about people that you love online, because I don't watch a lot of TV, but I watch a lot of YouTube. I really love YouTubers, and I like learning about people. It was really nice because I was reading the comments of her video, and if anyone gets shit about anything online, it's Jaclyn Hill. Oh, it's her. People love to hate her. And I think a lot of that comes from her addressing the drama surrounding her. If people hate her, she likes to address it. And I feel like the best thing to do would be just to ignore it. For me, sometimes I fall into addressing the drama. I don't like it when people state false facts about me. And so if somebody does or says anything about my husband or my friends or anything like that, I immediately jump to the defensive because, like, fuck you for talking about my friends. Usually taking the high road and ignoring it is the best thing to do, because the more you address it, the more drama there appears to be. So anyway, but it was nice because I was reading the comments of her video, and for somebody that gets a lot of negative shit, sometimes even has to disable comments, people were so kind. They were like, this is the Jacqueline we want to see. This is what we want. We want more. We want to know you. We want to get to know the human side to you. And the more you show that, I feel like the more people can relate and the less likely they are to judge you. This internet world can be a crazy judgmental place. And the crazy thing to remember about the internet is that anyone, anywhere can get a social media account. So that's another thing to remember, is that it's not always going to be people that you love, and it's not always going to be people that you value their opinion, or people that are all that positive. There may be total assholes that are out there online, and that's just kind of the way it is. The more we do videos like this and the more we talk and just be real with one another, it just like clears the air a little bit. And it also opens people up for criticism in a way, but remembering that I am totally open to give you my side and just be one-on-one. I don't like this weird place where everything is, people thinking one thing and saying one thing over here. And it's just to me, and maybe it's my age, maybe that has a lot to do with it. I am turning 30 in like a month and a half. I cannot believe that, and it makes me want to die saying that. I think the older I get, the more I realize how trivial everything is. The more negative we focus on, the more negative everything looks. If you walk around saying everything is shitty, your life is going to be so shitty. And that is the main focus of this video today. Looks like a few people in there want to talk about how I deal with chronic pain and I wake up every day and how I get shit done. For me, I'm just gonna explain a little bit of my backstory real quick for anybody who doesn't know. And then for anybody that does, I'm sorry, but I'll try to get through it as quick as possible. About 5 or 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with a brain disorder called TAC, or trigeminal autonomic cephalalgia, aka cluster headache. If you don't know what that is, it is a disorder that affects your trigeminal nerve, which is a nerve that runs all down your head, behind your eye, down your neck. It's a really prominent nerve in your head, and mine for some reason gets attacks. That attack feels like my head is exploding. It is 10 out of 10 pain. A nickname for it is suicide headache, because a lot of people, unfortunately, can't stand the pain. It's suicide worthy for people, and that's horrifying to think that somebody was in so much pain that they felt that that was their only option and that they took their own life. That could make me cry just thinking about it right now. It's that bad. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with this. It came out of nowhere. It hit me like a freight train in my face, and it debilitated me. There's not a lot of things I talk about online regarding it. I have talked about it in the past, but some people take it as pity party, and I don't even want to entertain people like that. I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. It's all documented. I go to a neurologist, so I don't know where people are getting that information from. It's all speculation and hearsay, and to be frank, it's fucking rude, because I wouldn't lie about something so serious. Why would I want to make myself seem sick? I love not being sick. Like today, I feel fantastic. Last 2 days, I had multiple cluster headaches, and I was in debilitating pain to the point where I couldn't get off the couch. I was throwing up. I was pacing around the house. It's not something I want to have, and it's not something I'm trying to like, oh, woe is me. It's just the reality of the situation. Some people deal with chronic pain, fibromyalgia. Some people have, other migraine disorders, and I'm not trying to say that any one is worse than the other, just that they exist, and chronic pain is fucked up, and I'm really unfortunate to have it. The way that it works is that I am seeing a neurologist. I am on a 3 times daily medication that is supposed to suppress cluster headaches. It does not work fully for me. It does help reduce the amount of them and reduce the severity of them. I still get them, and some days they're really bad, some days they're not so bad, and sometimes I can catch them in time. Sometimes I can't. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. When you are officially diagnosed with something, it feels really good because that person is validating the pain you've experienced. My neurologist, when he met with me and he officially diagnosed me with cluster headaches, I cried when I got home because he apologized to me. He's like, I'm so sorry you have this, and the pain you feel is real, and you're not over exaggerating. And I could cry right now thinking about that, because I felt fucking crazy for years. I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, why am I experiencing it? It's very, very rare, and that's why it's really hard to diagnose. I had gotten to a point where, now this is going to sound dramatic, and I'm not trying to make it sound that way. We want to talk about deep topics, and we want to talk about how things were. I was starting to feel suicidal. Not because I wanted my life to end, but because I wanted the pain to stop. It was so bad. I was breathing oxygen, and at what was I breathing it in at 25 liters per minute, which I think when you're at the hospital, it's like 3 or like 0.3 or something. It's very, very low. I did the vitamin D3 regimen where I was taking 25 supplements per day. I have a video on that on my channel. I was doing anything that I could. I was taking medications that are not approved by the FDA, and I literally was doing anything and nothing would stop the pain. And I got to a point, I remember I was sitting on my bed upstairs, and the thought that I cannot live like this anymore crossed my mind to a point that freaked me out really bad, because I don't like to feel that way. I'm not a suicidal person. I love my life. I love my husband. I love my animals. I love my family more than anything. But the pain was unbearable. I mean, it was like, in that moment, I remember sitting up on the bed. I can't do this anymore. And I remember just holding onto Zach, and I was like, I don't know how much longer I can live with this. And so I scheduled in with my neurologist again. And I was like, I don't care what it takes. Give me all the medicine in the world. And he did. And I have been a lot better since then. So that's a backstory on my cluster headaches and my chronic pain. Some mornings I wake up and I'm in horrifying pain to the point where I can't do anything. I can't go on my phone. I can't be on social media. I feel sick. I'm throwing up all day. Some days I feel great, like today. And it's one day to the next, and there's no triggers that I can find that are causing it. Like, why did I have cluster headaches yesterday? Nothing changed from yesterday to today. But why I felt so shitty yesterday and why I feel fine today, I'll never know. So people want to know on Twitter what keeps me going from day to day. And the answer is, it's a tough one, because age has a lot to do with it. I feel like as I get older, I'm realizing now how short life really is, and that all of this can be gone in the blink of an eye. I mean, I could leave tonight and drive 3 blocks on the road, get hit by a car and die. And I realize just how short my life is going to be, not because I am going to die early, but because life is short. We only get a very small amount of time here on this earth. And so I can either dwell in my misery, or I can make the fucking best of a really bad situation. And I realize there are people out there that have it worse than me too. It really, really helps me to know that quit being a little baby. Like, other people suffer way more than you are. It's just pain. Like, you can deal with it, and knowing that the pain isn't going to last forever, and that I will find a way. There will be a day I feel good again. Like yesterday, as I'm in this horrifying cluster headache and I'm sitting there and I'm rocking and I feel sick to my stomach and my head feels like my eye is absolutely exploding out of my face. I think this will pass and I will feel good again. And that is what keeps me going for the next day. Like, tomorrow I'll forget how bad the pain was. It's like mothers who give birth. During that, they're like, I'm never having a baby again. And then the next day they're like, I'll have 50 more babies. It's like that trauma is forgotten. You forget how bad the pain was, type of a thing. And it's the same with cluster headaches. Right now, as I feel good, it's like, I could do that again. But you know what I mean? And it is. You can do it again, and you can go through pain, and it's changed my pain tolerance too. Like, I can deal with shit that sometimes I wonder how much chronic pain in the rest of my body I'm really in, like compared to the normal person. I've had a lot of other health issues too, but that's my main one that I deal with on the daily. Day to day, I look at it and I go, okay, well, I'm lucky, okay? So I work from home now. I'm a YouTuber. This is my job, and this is how I get paid. This is my sole source of income, is being a social media influencer. So I make money from posting YouTube videos, from the ads, from you guys watching. If I have a bad day, I could just not post a video that day. Like yesterday, there was no humanly possible way I was going to get up a video. But had I had to go to work, I would have had to call in and let people down and feel it sucks. Because I have had conventional jobs my whole life up until January. I just went full time on YouTube in January. But before that, I worked at a veterinary hospital for 5 years, 40 hours a week. They started when I was working at the vet. And I remember getting them. I remember going to the hospital and being treated like shit because the doctor thought I was probably just seeking drugs. But I didn't even want to get high. I just wanted the pain to stop. And I remember that's when it started, when I was working at the vet, because I started getting cluster headaches about 5 years ago, I'd say. I mean, I'm sure it bothered my boss really bad, the amount of times I had to call into work and be like, literally dying right now. I don't know what to do. And so I'm lucky right now in that I can kind of choose what I do. if I don't work right now and I don't put up a video, that's just less money I get each month. It's not that big of a deal. Whereas if I were working a conventional job, I'd have to call in and it sucks. I know what it's like, kind of batch do everything I need to do. Like as somebody with chronic pain, if you suffer from it as well, the way that I find motivation is that I do a lot on days where I feel good. Like today I feel really good. So I woke up, I dyed my hair, I put on a full face of makeup. I did a video before this. Now I'm filming this video, and tonight we have family dinner with my dad. I put up Christmas lights this morning. Like I do a lot in the days I feel good because I don't know what tomorrow's going to be like. And I feel like that's a good way to kind of live when you deal with chronic pain. Just do as much as you can on the days you feel good, and then allow yourself for those shitty days. And let people around you know, like, I don't like this and I don't want to feel this way, but unfortunately, it's the reality of the situation. I also have to look at it and I go, sometimes I start to feel sorry for myself. And I'm like, why me? You know what? Why me? I don't know, but it is me, unfortunately. Like, this is how my life is now. There are people out there that have no arms and legs and they play soccer. Kristi, you're fine. You have 2 arms and 2 legs, and you have a beautiful husband and a beautiful family and a house and a roof over your head and beautiful animals and beautiful best friends, and you have nothing to complain about. Like, I'll live. I'm fine. I could have something way worse. I could die of cancer. I don't know. I mean, and I guess losing my mom at a young age has made me realize how precious life is and how trivial bullshit is. Like, for me, that's why when people want to like start shit online or talk to me or tell me who I am or tell me I'm a bad person, like, you, number one, know literally fucking tip of the iceberg about my life. Like, this actual much, you know what I choose to share with you. And so for somebody to like tell me something, it's like, this doesn't even matter. Because at the end of the day, like, I know who I am, and I also like know how minuscule all of this bullshit is in the grand scheme of things. Like, remember when you were a little kid, a boy or girl at school didn't like you, and it felt like the end of the world, and you would write in your journal or your diary and you'd be like, I'm never gonna live. You remember how you would feel that way, and it was all a really big deal? And you know how like when you're 20, you look back on that and you're like, oh my God, I was so stupid. None of that mattered. This doesn't either. The drama online and the shitty people online and all that kind of dumb shit doesn't matter either. Like, for me, I look at it that way and I just go, look, what good you do with your life while you have it, which is very short. And I know that sounds so easy to say, like, YOLO, you only live once. It's the truest statement that there ever was, unfortunately, that YOLO was the truest statement, but it's true. What mark are you going to leave? And so I look at it like, I can wake up and I can have a positive attitude, and if I don't feel good, I'll just take it easy on myself and not push myself too hard. And if I feel good, I'm going to just do as much as I can in that day and have a good attitude and have fun while I'm doing it. I can either be that person or I can wallow in self-pity. And it's okay to feel bad for yourself every now and again. If you deal with stuff that other people don't, that's just part of it. But I am not my cluster headaches. I don't want them to ruin my life. They are a part of my life and they are a part of who I am. And unfortunately, I deal with the pain, but I'm not going to let something like that control my life. Because if I start to let it starts to do what it did to me before. And I feel hopeless and like, what's the point? And there is a point. Because I guess I look at it like this. If you ever feel like, what's the point of life? The point of life is that you get to live it. And while you're here, you get to have that life. And what you make of it is what you made of it. And when you're on your deathbed, are you going to look back and be like, I'm happy with what I did? Or are you going to look back and be like, well, I was a negative ass bitch? That's how you kind of look at it. Like, what life do you want to live? And what person do you want to be? It's okay to be upset about your plight. Like, that's okay. Don't let unfortunate circumstances that have happened to you become who you are. Like, I am not my cluster headaches, and you are not your chronic pain or what has happened to you in the past. It is a part of what makes you who you are. Like, I'm tougher and stronger and better because of my cluster headaches in a way, because I'm more sympathetic to people that deal with pain now. I can have empathy. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, if one of my friends is having a headache, I could be like, I'm so sorry you're dealing with that. Like, anything I can get you. There are positives to it, and you can either look at those and acknowledge them, or you can be like, yeah, fuck my life. And sometimes I am like, fuck my life, but most of the time I try to make the best of a bad situation. I'm just some bitch on the internet. Like, I'm just another human being out of the 7 or 8 billion people that we have here on this earth. I'm fortunate enough to have people that literally care what I have to say for some reason or another. Don't ask me why. It's nice that we just talk and we humanize each other again, because the internet dehumanizes big time. I don't know if you guys feel that same way too, but people feel like the other person on the other side of the screen isn't a person, and you feel like you can say anything to them and call them all these names. And I guess I try not to say anything to people online that I wouldn't say to their face. And I think that's a really good thing. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'd say it to it. No, you wouldn't. No, you fucking wouldn't. You'd call somebody those names to their face? No, you wouldn't. You'd get that confrontational and get up and scream in somebody's face. And if you would, you need to check yourself. Because for me, that's abnormal behavior. And we need to treat each other with respect and understanding and quit all this nasty bullshit that goes on online. It's not going to quit because it's the internet. People love this kind of shit. But that's fucking weird. Sorry. Well, I hope I answered your guys' question. I mean, I know that I didn't go into that much detail, but that is the reality of the situation, is that I try to just be kind to myself and also try to understand that, like, shit is unfortunately what it is. Like, these are the cards I was dealt. I was dealt shitty health. I have shittier health than most people my age. Most people can go out and drink on the weekends. I can't. Sometimes I can, and it's amazing when I can, but I will suffer for days afterwards. You bet your ass. I'm so lucky, you know. At the same time, I have more than some other people. Like, where I may suffer in another area, I may, you know, thrive in another area. So, you know. So there's that. And if you guys have any questions or you want to talk about anything and you guys want to just, you know, chat, I'm all ears. And I love when you guys chat with each other in the comments and can, you know, meet other people that I feel like my subscribers, you guys watching, are some of the most level-headed people on the internet. Like, you guys don't over-exaggerate things. It's just, you guys are so normal, and I love that. And I appreciate you guys, and I am excited to hear what you guys have to say in the comments, or if you have anything to add to what I say. I love you guys so much, and I thank you so much for watching, and I love you so much, and I will see you at my next video.